Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5.
Eugene police say the man who shot and killed a person at Park Grove Apartments Wednesday turned himself in last night at EPD headquarters. Thanks for joining us for NBC 16 at 5. I'm Alan Matthews.
And I'm Jacqueline Mazer. Police arrested Alejandro Ponce for killing 23-year-old Blake Augusta Schaufler. We learned of the identity of the victim this morning from police. We've also learned that Schaufler was a freshman at the New Hope Christian College in Eugene. The connection between Ponce and Schaufler is unclear as police are still investigating. But we talked to one woman today who lives in the area where the shooting took place. She shares her reaction to Wednesday's shooting.
Just two cops with their lights on just sped past me. They were making circles around the parking lot. So I was kind of concerned, and I ended up calling non-emergency and asking what was going on, stated that I lived here and if it was safe to go outside. And they weren't able to tell me what was going on, but they said to definitely stay inside and lock my doors.
Again, this is still an ongoing investigation. NBC 16 will bring you updates as soon as they are available.
One driver was killed in a two-vehicle crash this morning in Eugene. Eugene police say a Jeep Liberty was going westbound on West 1st Avenue when it crashed with a pickup. The driver in the Jeep died. EPD says they're looking to see whether the Jeep crossed into oncoming traffic. No other injuries were reported. The names of the people involved have not been released yet. All roads did reopen around 1 p.m.
The Albany police are now calling Craig Lauzon a person of interest in the disappearance of his wife, Tiffany. Tiffany was last seen by her family on December 27th and was reported missing to the PD on January 8th. According to police, Craig Lauzon was arrested and charged for an unrelated crime earlier this week. They say the fact that Tiffany has been missing for 2 weeks is of serious concern, and so is the lack of help from Tiffany's husband, Craig. But today, police say Craig Lauzon's lack of cooperation is what gave police the jurisdiction to call him a person of interest.
Well, the person of interest would mean that they're related to the case or the person that's involved in the case, and should or would reasonably have pretty decent knowledge of information that we could run down.
Police say Craig Lauzon has not been forthcoming about Tiffany's whereabouts. They say he has avoided speaking with the authorities.
Well, we now turn to our first look at weather. NBC 16 meteorologist Josh Kozar joins us in the Weather Center talking about our temperatures for the day and how do they actually line up with what we normally expect this time of year.
Well, Alan, in the Eugene-Springfield area, just about a degree below the average, so we'll just go ahead and round up and say we saw average temperatures all across western Oregon. There's that 46 degrees in the Eugene-Springfield area, slightly cooler down towards the Umpqua Valley in the low 40s and close to 50 degrees near the North Bend and Coos Bay area. But temperatures now sliding back into the low 40s with some clearing conditions, but we'll hold tight to the mostly cloudy skies tonight. But dry weather still remains as we take a live look at our radar and satellite at this point in time. Temperatures are going to get cold tonight, dipping close to freezing for many locations, especially for those of us in the valley. So that means you need to check on people outdoors. Also, make sure to bring your pets inside and be sure to cover any exposed pipes that you might have outdoors. But I'll talk about a potential to see some flurries in my full forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh. Well, we're in the middle of winter, and now it's the time to start pruning your trees before crop season begins.
That's right. NBC 16's Cassandra Gutierrez spoke to OSU Extension. Now, Cassandra, what are some tips that they're giving people on fruit tree pruning for the season?
OSU Extension Masters gardeners tell me trees are currently dormant, so it's the time to give them that special attention to make the best out of their crop. And of course, keep them healthy for the future. OSU Extension Master gardeners also recommend to have the appropriate tools and know how to cut your trees properly, according to sunlight and preference.
Right now, you should be going out there and assessing it. Is there any broken, diseased, damaged branches and removing those, and then deciding how you can prune it to lower it so that you can reach the fruit, how you can open up the center to expose it to the sun.
OSU Extension is offering fruit tree pruning courses this upcoming weeks, rain or shine. They are requesting a $10 donation fee. The next tree pruning course is tomorrow in Florence and this Saturday in Eugene. For more dates and course details, visit our website at nbc16.com. Coming up at 5:30, I'll be back in the studio to share a preview at what you can learn during these courses.
All right, thanks a lot, Cassandra. Well, food labels will now show consumers exactly how many calories they eat. New nutrition labeling rules by the Food and Drug Administration kicked in on January 1st. Some labels will now have two columns, one for the nutritional facts in a single serving and the other with the nutritional facts of the entire package.
The purpose of the new nutrition label is to help consumers make better choices about the food that they're purchasing and to better understand how those foods may or may not contribute to a healthy diet.
The labels apply to manufacturers that sell up to $10 million in food annually. Manufacturers that sell less than that have until January 1st of 2021 to comply with the new label requirements.
According to the national organization American Adoptions, the average cost to adopt a child is $43,000. A local agency is making sure that number is much lower for parents-to-be. A Family for Every Child kicked off the new year with a new peer-to-peer fundraising campaign option for families. A Family for Every Child charges families $1,500 to $3,000 in adoption fees. They're able to cover additional costs through donations and fundraising. Their website offers peer-to-peer fundraising so that families can fundraise for their own adoption costs as well.
Hopefully it takes off, and it's just we want to have that be a part of our organization, is that you're not alone. You have just as big of a network as another person may have, so why not utilize it and help fund your adoption.
The online fundraising campaigns can be shared on social media. All the money goes directly to A Family for Every Child to help cover the family's cost. The organization invites anyone with questions to give them a call.
Work is almost complete in Veneta on a Veterans Memorial Plaza, the area's first memorial for military vets. It's a project headed up by the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Project co-directors say it's an investment of $110,000 in donations, materials, and labor. It consists of 3 marble walls and 2 smaller concrete walls arranged in a semicircle. On the walls are the names of local veterans who lost their lives in service to their nation.
Teachers can come down and share this site, talk about veterans, talk about the sacrifices that has gone on to make us the nation that we are.
There are footprints in the concrete representing service members that went into combat. A $38,000 state parks grant was awarded to the project in 2018.
Well, the Eugene Police Department has added 2 new additions to the force. One of them helped in yesterday's manhunt for the Kmtr shooting suspect we mentioned earlier in the show. NBC 16's Christelle Kumwe introduces us to Marco, Ike, and their handlers. Hey, Christelle.
K9 Marco was on the scene in the Kmtr area Wednesday as police looked for the shooting suspect. Both he and K9 Ike recently completed their training and are ready to work. The Eugene Police Department now has 4 apprehension dogs used for tracking people and evidence. Now let's meet the 2 newest members of the K9 unit and their handlers. Meet Marco, only his first few days on the street and already helping out in the search for a suspect in the Kmtr area. Meet Ike. They are the newest members of the Eugene Police K9 unit.
So I have a brand new partner. His name is Marco. He's a Malinois. Came from the Netherlands.
My newest partner is Ike. Ike is a 16-month-old German Shepherd from Germany.
The K9s and their handlers are hitting the streets of Eugene for the first time this week after completing 10 weeks of training.
We worked on tracking, we worked on area searching, we worked on neutrality around police officers.
Casey and Thomas say the partnership and bond with their K9s go beyond work.
We're family. He lives with me. We spend a lot of time together, let alone the 400 hours of training.
The K9 unit says Ike and Marco have all the qualities to be a huge asset to the team.
The primary function in our work is search work. So we're looking for dogs that are really tuned into their nose, that are very responsive to odor, that are going to help us locate people and things that we wouldn't be able to find without the dog.
Thomas has been a K9 handler with EPD for 2 years and Casey for 10 years. So are there any benefits to having a K9 partner versus a human partner?
They never roll their eyes or give us a heavy sigh.
He's always there to listen to me.
The K9 is always happy to see us, no matter what we're asking them to do.
Rarely talks back. When he does, I very much so listen because he usually has something important to say.
A big welcome to Marco and Ike as they hit the streets of Eugene. The Eugene Police K9 unit is looking to expand their unit and add an additional patrol dog. They're planning to add a new narcotics detection dog in the next month.
All right, thanks a lot, Christelle. Well, coming up next on NBC 16 at 5, Medford got their first batch of snow this winter season, causing some of the schools there to close. A look at the snow totals.
Plus, senators are sworn in to take part in the impeachment trial against President Trump when this trial is expected to kick off.